What is going on, guys? Matt O'Leary back with the reaction to day 2 of the 2024 NFL draft. Excited for this one. Just hopped off the stream. We were live all night on the Talking Jets channel. Had a ton of special guests. Thank you to everyone who came out with us and hung out. Thank you to anyone who joined the show. Much appreciated. So let's discuss. The New York Jets went into today, day 2, with only their third round pick, which the Jets had at pick number 72. Now, if you saw my video from earlier today, I wanted the Jets to trade up for a wide receiver. That's what I wanted them to do to get into the second round. They were unable to get into the second round, but they traded up to the first pick in the third round. And with the first pick in the third round, they draft Malachi Corley, aka the Yak King. Yak stands for yards after the catch. And this was someone that they met with. If you remember a few weeks ago, I did a video on how much they love Malachi Corley going back all the way to the Senior Bowl. They met with him. They had a top 30 visit with him. They are not the only team in the NFL to do a top 30 visit with him. They love this kid, and he has been extremely productive. He had 984 yards and 11 touchdowns last season, 1,295 and 11 the year before that, and 691 yards and 7 touchdowns 3 years ago. At 5'11", 215 pounds, his player comp is easy to go to Deebo Samuel. Why? Because they are very similar in size, and they ran very similar. He ran a 4.46 40-yard dash at 22 years old. Now, once again, this is someone that the Jets absolutely adored. He was literally their fourth wide receiver on the board. They had Romo Dunze in front of him. They had Malik Neighbors in front of him. And then they also had Marvin Harrison Jr. in front of him. But their wide receiver 4 in this draft was Malachi Corley. And as you can see in this video, they were talking about him all night.
Malachi, how you doing? This is Woody Johnson, owner of the New York Jets. How you doing?
I'm doing damn great. How are you?
Well, we've been sweating about you for the last 2 hours.
We have been talking about, my brother wasn't kidding. We've been talking about you. Joe has been showing us your tape. Everybody's so excited here.
Apparently, according to the Jets' social media, Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas were texting about him this morning saying Malachi Corley no matter what. Don't know if that's a real text or not, but that's hilarious. But they found their guy. Aaron Rodgers is excited about it. And it's hard not to see why. Like, this is a guy who would fit in really well in this offense. And I think would do a lot of the things that they were hoping Mecole Hardman would do in this offense with Aaron Rodgers. Now, a really good stat, 38 of his 70 catches in 2023 came behind the line of scrimmage. So essentially what they're doing is a lot of Brock Bowers stuff. Brock Bowers, to the detractors of Brock Bowers, they said, oh, well, he's kind of just a yard after the catch merchant, which is such a stupid argument, because if a player is good with the ball in his hands and he's a feature part of the offense and he does damage with the ball in his hands, who cares how far he's going down the field? If he's making plays and creating positive net yards for you, whatever. And 38 of his 76 came behind the line of scrimmage. So they were throwing him screens and just like, all right, now go. And I love that he's already talked to Aaron Rodgers.
I can't stop smiling. I'm ear to ear thinking about it. Being able to go down there and just pick his brain. I just told him because I called him right after this was over.
You called Aaron Rodgers right after?
Yeah. So and I told him, I said, yeah, I'm gonna be staying in your guest house come training camp.
And honestly, a trio of Garrett Wilson as the number 1, Mike Williams the number 2 on the outside, and Malachi Corley in the slot. Now you're cooking. And then you could have guys like Xavier Gibson and Allen Lazard beyond that for depth. And suddenly that wide receiver room starts to look a little bit different. If you're curious about what the trade was for the New York Jets, they gave up 72 and 157 to pick 65, which was enough to get them all the way up to the top of the third round, first pick of the third round. Going into tomorrow, they have 3 picks in the fourth, 111, 129, and 134. They have a 6th round pick number 185, and the final pick of the draft, pick number 257. Now, I would be pretty surprised if they just stood at every single one of their spots and took a player. I think they might want to move around the board depending on who they like and who's still available. Troy Franklin has somehow made it to day 3. There are 3 developmental quarterbacks that you got to like, and Spencer Rattler, Jordan Travis, and Michael Pratt. I could totally see them taking a swing there. They could take a swing on a RB2. Braylon Allen's a fan favorite name that gets brought up a lot, and they could still use depth at safety and the interior defensive line. Those are the positions that I would think the Jets key in on. But going into today, after they took an offensive lineman yesterday, my logic was, okay, now they have to trade up and get a wide receiver today. That has to be the plan. And that was. They were trying to get up into the second round to draft Malachi Corley. They were unable to, but they were still able to get up to the first pick of the 3rd round and get their guy. I was slightly surprised in a way that they took him over Troy Franklin or Roman Wilson. I happen to really like Roman Wilson. That was probably my preference, and Troy Franklin right there behind him. But Malachi Corley is someone that they've been eyeing for a long, long time. So not surprised at all that he was the pick. And again, it's going to be so easy for Aaron Rodgers to like this kid. Just get the ball in his hands, short to intermediate game, and let him do his thing after that. He runs nasty with the football. Think Deebo Samuel, think Quincy Enunwa with the ball in his hands after the catch. He's going to have some angry runs next year, and I'm really excited to watch him play in 2024. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you guys next time.